If you really look at the genesis of Halfbrick, it was towards the end of a quantum course that a number of us were graduating from, and we sort of came to the realization we didn't really want to work with anybody else or for anyone else. We wanted to build something that was our own. It was myself, Jason Casa, David Zurillo, Reese Milner, one other guy who I only know by his nickname, and his name was Nailbomb. So yeah, 5 of us. We had a passion for games, and we wanted to make the best games that we possibly could. None of us had a business background, so everything was flying by the seat of our pants. So the big characters in Halfbrick's history that have made a difference to the company, if I look at those, Daniel Vogt, definitely. I'd say Jason Casa, that was one of my founding partners. Obviously Daniel Vogt was subsequent partner. Luke Muscat, Phil Larson, and was our CMO, and Ben Vale. So I think Phil Larson played a big role because he was the face of Halfbrick for a long time. I'm not really one to sort of put myself out there, but I needed someone that could do that. So Fruit Ninja went from relative obscurity on day one to becoming the second most downloaded game of all time. So over the course of 5 years, it's racked up over 1.5 billion downloads, which is an impressive feat in anyone's imagination. And not only that, Jetpack Joyride is one of the top 25 downloaded games in the world with over 500 million downloads. So cumulative 2 billion downloads over the course of probably the last 5 years. It's an amazing feat. Luke came up with the idea as part of a call out from me about making a one-screen game that your mum could play. And so I guess Luke watches a lot of late night TV, so he saw ads for knives, and in those ads they're always cutting 2 things, either like shoes or fruit. He thought, okay, well, I can make the best, I think, fruit murder simulator. That's what he initially pitched it at the Halfbrick Friday, which is our brainstorming and game prototyping sort of session. So that's the inspiration behind it. There's just something just so satisfying about slicing fruit with an imaginary katana blade. It's just amazing. Now, China is, over the last 5 years, it's been a huge eye-opener for me. The thing that stands out for me is my first trip to China and just seeing what was there. And I had no expectations, but just the reception that I had over there when people knew that we made Fruit Ninja, and Fruit Ninja was just huge everywhere. Such a big part of our audience comes from China. I'd say probably a third of our audience, and in some games even half of our audience comes from China, and we have so much recognition there.
It'll always be a milestone in the history of games development, and it will always mark a substantial turning point when the first games that were really built for mobile happened and changed the world of games.
It's one of those IPs, intellectual properties or games, that we refer to as evergreen. I think it's something that all generations can play, and from our demographics, we always say, we have people from 3 to 103, male or female, playing this game. I think people will be playing this for more than 20 years, maybe the next 40, 50 years. That's my hope. The shift in Fruit Ninja from a paid app to a free app was one that was dictated by the market. The market is changing from a paid market to one that is essentially free, and this is one of the hardest sort of changes that we had to make in Halfbrick's evolution. It's trying to make sure you're always evolving and trying to look into the future and see where you need to be. This is the hardest part about my job.
Everybody who works there speaks really well of Shainiel and speaks of the guidance that he provides. He's empowered people to build things, to extend the company in ways outside his kind of direct hard hand on the reins. In a lot of ways, the company reflects Shainiel, which is that Halfbrick has a tendency to keep its head down and get the job done. You don't see a lot of self-promotion.
It's to always be the best, do your best work possible, not take no for an answer, not think that something is impossible. But being competitive at all costs is not good. You need to balance that with, good values.
I think one of the things Shainiel's always done is built on success to further the company and treated success as seriously as failure.
I'm a very independent guy, and it's probably one of the factors why, I never had an exit strategy. I'm very attached to, Halfbrick as a company and the vision that I have and I guess what we've managed to build there over the years. I still don't have an exit strategy. When I started out on this journey, I wanted to build a company that was going to be there long after I'm gone as well. So that's still my mission, still what I want to do.
Halfbrick's got to be one of Australia's best big data companies. But you don't often see it mentioned in that context. They've got to be one of the best IP generation and media companies, but you don't often see them mentioned in that context. Particularly when you look at how the games industry was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where it was really dominated by 5 or 6 large entrenched companies that had been there for 20 or 30 years, the EAs, the Activisions, big Fortune 500 behemoths. And when Shainiel talks about humble beginnings, you're talking about a small Brisbane company that went on to not only challenge but actually defeat those companies in the largest new market, which is mobile games. It's remarkable. I think it'd be hard to question that it's the largest cultural export from Australia in the last decade, and that's just one of the many remarkable pieces of the puzzle as Shainiel's built a world-class company in Kelvin Grove.
I definitely think there's a Queensland character to Halfbrick. I think we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we're good, solid sort of people that want to work hard and get the job done, and we also punch well above our weight, which is definitely that Queensland sort of spirit. We always take on the opposition. We're always the underdogs, but we always triumph in the end. So I definitely think all of that runs deep in Halfbrick.